Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Monday weekend wrap-up. Soon to be changed to something unknown, but it is going to be changing. We have an idea of what we're going with. As we mentioned last week on the episode, we have some summer reconstruction going, and it's pretty exciting. So we'll see. Hopefully we have some good stuff coming up for you guys. But, guys, thank you for joining us on every Monday night here on Twitch, and if you're watching on YouTube and possibly Kick and Chatterbait and everything else, you know, OnlyFans. Yep. Joining us as always, we have Milo, Hoff, and Cultured. Milo, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Hoff, I like the blue vibes. I like the blue vibes in the background.
Thanks.
Looks very nice. And Cultured, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Good to be back.
Good to have you back. What a week, guys. So for the viewers, we are gonna do things a little differently today. Okay, we're gonna break things up into segments. You know, we're gonna test it out, see how it goes. You know, if it doesn't work, we'll just go back to whatever we were doing before and try something else. But we'll start off with Milo. You sent a pretty interesting hypothetical to the group chat.
Sure, yeah. Just for a bit of fun, yeah.
You want to explain?
I think we learned it's not hypothetical, right?
You want me to read it out, do you?
Yeah, tell the people.
Sorry, I wasn't ready for that. That's okay.
Oh no, you're good.
I can do that. Okay, so where did I post it? Here we go. All right, so chat, you can ponder this during the course of the show if you like. You can explain your reasoning. There are some caveats. Cartwheel tried to cheat. I haven't talked to him about it. You tried to
tell
cheat.
Tell them first.
Okay, so, all right. I'll give you 10. Well, I won't. But someone will give you 10 million in cash right now in your hand. But there's a catch. Okay, the catch is a snail is chasing you for the rest of your life. And if it touches you, you die a terrible death, like horrible death. The snail cannot be killed, so it's invincible, kind of like Arsenal in 2004. It knows your location at all times, and its only purpose is to find you and kill you. Are you taking the money?
I think I responded. I don't know if Hoff and Culture, what do you guys think?
Go on, Hoff.
I would. Yeah, why not? You don't know where it is, but it always knows where you are.
Yep.
Okay.
Obviously, the talking point is when you're asleep, right? You're going to sleep for roughly what, six to 8 hours, and that snail is going to know every little caveat and like nook and cranny of how to get in your house, and you don't know every nook and cranny of how to get in your house. He's going to know. He's going to find a way in, and he could hide. He could take 8 hours to get in one day, and then hide in your house. And then in the next 8 hours, the next day when you're asleep, that's when he catches you and you die. I mean, I'd still do it. I reckon I could make a snail-proof shelter in my house. But
like a panic room.
Yeah, just covering copper tape, right? Snails can't go over copper, so just surround yourself in copper tape.
I gotta find the thing I found on Google. I googled how fast can a snail move. What was the answer? If you assume, I said how long would it take a snail to go across the world? And it says if you assume an equatorial circumnavigation, assume that the snail can walk, crawl on water. It has to travel 38,000 kilometers. If you assume non-stop travel at this maximum speed, it would take 240 years to crawl halfway across the earth.
But you didn't factor in the fact that it can fly. It can get on a plane.
Oh, it can.
It could also it could stick itself to the outside of a plane.
Yeah.
Or a bird. You know?
That's true.
Listen,
But wait,
hitching a ride.
It's focused 100. Like your focus is on, what shall I eat tonight? Do I need the bathroom? What games am I going to play tonight? You know, his focus is purely how to find you and kill you.
That's true. He could hop on the thing.
So, question: how did Cart cheat in his answer in
Well,
the chat?
because he said he was going to put a tracker on it.
I'll put a tracker on the snail.
You can't put a
is-
tracker.
You're going to get very close to putting a tracker on a small little snail. If he just reaches out with one of his little antenna, dead.
No, I'll
Exactly.
pay someone like $10,000
there you go.
to do it.
You'll pay
I don't
Milo
have
$1 million
to
go.
I'd have,
tracker
yeah.
on the snail.
I'll give you. I'll
My
give you. I'll
price
give
for
you.
that
I'll
is
give you.
9,999,000.
It's like I give you 100 now and then 999 later. That's what it would be, something like that.
I guess using Cart's arithmetic on Google or ChatGPT, whichever one he uses, right? You could figure out how long it would take the snail to get from your house to the closest airport, even if he got on a car, because he'd have to crawl to a car, right? He'd have to slime his way to some sort of transport.
Yeah.
Whilst he's doing that, you fly somewhere else, and you figure out how long it takes him to crawl to a car, get in the car, get on an aeroplane, and then as he starts that journey on his aeroplane, you just fly back. Because then when he gets there, he's then got to crawl to the next plane to fly back, and you're always one
It's a
step
lot of
ahead.
hassle, though, isn't it?
It's a lot of hassle, but for 10 million, I'll take a bit of hassle for 10 million.
How about trapping the snail somewhere? Is it possible to trap it somewhere?
I guess, but
That's what-
he
that
will
would be my move.
looking to escape.
I mean, does that? Okay, well, does it have to touch my skin?
I mean, it just says touch.
Touch. So I'd throw a hazmat suit on, put it in a jar, and call it a day.
I'm assuming it's
Triple
not going to
jar.
have like
Like a
snail
Russian
throwing
doll.
knives. It has to touch you.
Yeah. Anyways, it would be scary though. It would be scary.
That just randomly popped up on my Twitter feed, and I thought it was funny. That's why I put it in the
I would
chat.
make sure I was always like really sweaty. That way, if and when it touches me, it's going down too from the salt on my skin.
Oh my god. Well, okay. Well, now
Then
we're.
you've got 10 million pounds and no one wants to be your friend, Huff.
That's
'cause
it,
you
yeah.
stink.
No, then you got a dead
That's
snail and a
bad plan,
dead.
Huff.
I mean,
Yeah, and
it's
you're
no
dead
different
too.
than now. So
Oh man. All right.
Good icebreaker, Milo. Good icebreaker.
Alrighty, guys. Like I said, we're gonna try things a little differently. So let's try it now. Okay. Let's. We're gonna take a short break, and we'll be back with part one of the thing of what we're doing here. The show. Okay. All right, and welcome back to the Monday Weekend Wrap-Up Show. FIFA are planning on introducing a change to the offside rule, guys. This process is still in an early stage, and FIFA and IFAB will assess the latest trial results at the end of the year. Netherlands, Italy, and Sweden are reported to be the countries that will be hosting the trials for the trial period. But according to Dale Johnson, ESPN's VAR analyst, he says that this is a very, very long way from becoming a law. If the IFAB moves to the next stage, then there will be additional tests in senior football. Former Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger, currently serving as FIFA's chief of global football development, is credited with spearheading this fresh change. Guys, what do you guys think about this new offside rule? It's quote unquote called the daylight rule. You just have to have one bit of there has to be clear daylight between you and the last attacker in order for offside to be called now, with this new rule. Some people are saying that this will revolutionize football if adopted. High lines will be punished more often. Catenaccio will be back. The deep line will be back. Another person added, finally, I've been saying for this for 2 years. No more offsides for kneecaps, toes, and elbows, which I'm not sure about that. But and another person on social media was saying things just got even harder for defenders. Won't be any point in playing offside. Best thing to do is play deep line, as almost impossible to get a striker offside if they are intelligent enough.
I feel like we're just going to get the reverse, where he's going to be off by he's going to be on by a toe.
Right.
Instead, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's just going to create even more controversy.
I think there'll be more decisions that can be clear cut, but there's still going to be that controversy of, well, but his toes on, his heel is on side. Yeah. His back of his head is on side, sort of thing. His and then I'm not sure it's going to help. I think it could, but it's just complicating a rule that was never complicated before, or was it always complicated? We just never really saw it back in the day because there wasn't VAR. You just went with what the referee and the linesman said, and you were like, yeah, okay, you occasionally get it wrong, but I don't know. I'm not sure. What level of football is it being tested at? It's not senior, is it? Because you said in that quote it will go to senior football later.
Yeah. I don't know if it was senior football or maybe international senior football, but I don't think it's being tested at the highest level in Italy and Sweden and Netherlands yet.
The thing I've got is why don't they just use the VAR equivalent thing that was used at the World Cup? That was so quick. The little 3D models where it just drew that very quick line and it was offside, or not. It was really, really quick in the World Cup, if I remember rightly. I might be blurred, but yeah.
It was good. It was
sure
just.
What this...
I think the thing about that one was it just took. It costs a lot of money to implement that because each ball has to have a microchip in it as well. So I think the issue with it was the cost thing, and there was talk about Serie A implementing that. They didn't quite implement the same thing because they didn't do the same one with the microchip in the ball. So I think it's a cost thing, which is why they're not implementing that one yet. But yeah, I completely agree with you guys about the how it's just going to be the opposite, right? Was his kneecap a hair offside, or was his back of his heel a hair offside or whatever?
Yeah, you're just moving the line of argument like back, 8 inches, 12 inches?
Right.
It's moving where the argument is.
I guess the argument is that there's more chance that a body will be completely, if you say in line is any part of the body you can play the ball with, there's more chance play will be able to continue and goals will stand, right? Because at the moment it's their whole body can be in line, but if their kneecap is just in front. But if you're saying anything crosses over, so even if it is your heel, as long as it's in line with any part of the defender, it's onside. Now, I agree with the comments that were like, it's just going to lead to very deep line defence. It's going to get rid of any sort of, or the majority of gegenpressing. It's going to get rid of all of the sort of high action, intense defending, and it's going to suit maybe people like Harry Maguire, a bit slower defenders who can sit a little bit deeper, basically. It'll be interesting. I'm not sure. Sorry, Milo, I interrupted you.
It's all right. I wouldn't mind seeing it in action, but I think Iran's suggestion in chat there is just make the boots the reference point. You know, it's football. Your foot is what you have to connect with the ball. After the play, as the play evolves, it's your foot that's making contact with the ball, unless you're cheating. But you know what I mean. Like that's probably the best thing. Just have the boots. The boot is the only frame of reference they look at. Then they could probably look at putting some sort of sensor eventually in the boots or something like that to make it more automated if that's a route that they want to go. But in the meantime, then the VAR team are only looking at the boots, nothing else. No elbows, no toenails, no fingertips, no shoulder blades, none of that stuff. Just the boots. I think that's probably the best idea because, and it makes sense. Like I say, it's football, and that's the part of your body that you're going to be getting on the ball next. So yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying just throw a little microchip in the boots?
I mean, you could if you wanted to go down that automated route eventually, which is, most things are heading that way, aren't they?
That'd be pretty neat. I think that would be like if some part of the body, you know, maybe it doesn't have to be the boot. Maybe it could be that super masculine sports bra that everyone wears underneath their jersey, you know?
The GPS vest.
Yeah, maybe they could just do it like that's the point of reference. Maybe something like that.
Do you reckon this
The
sort of rule,
nipples.
The nipples.
Saying you want the nipples to be the point of reference.
automating the nipples? Yeah.
He's a nipple off.
Do you think it could lead to more bangers from attacking midfield in terms of goals? Because defenders will sit deeper. Because if you're a striker, right, you'll play as high up as you possibly can. If you just make sure that your heel is always in line with the last defender, you can physically push that defence back and back and back towards their own goal, which leaves space for the people like Odegaard, Kevin De Bruyne, Bruno Fernandes. Can't think of a good Spurs attacking midfielder, sorry Hoff. But like to shoot from range, to have those opportunities, right? Madison, yeah. I guess so.
Yeah.
To have those opportunities from range for thronkers and benders and banana rockets and things like that from the edge of the box. It could be good. It could be good, but I think we've all become accustomed to a very high line of defence, right? That it's about the pace of the attacker. It's about the intelligence of the defence stepping up for an offside trap. It's going to be a lot harder to do an offside trap now with these sorts of rules.
Yeah, I think the intent was to make a more attacking game, but I'm assuming that was the intent. Arsene Wenger is apparently spearheading this whole thing to try to promote more action, more goals. I wonder if we'll see. I'm trying to think where this will make for a more attacking game. You know, like what situations will it become more attacking? Because the way we've all kind of taken it so far is this low line, low block defense. Like
you'd go back to having just the most rapid guy you can as a forward, have him play on the heels of the defender, and you could play balls over the top all day long and have him chase them, couldn't you? I mean, you know, maybe
that's what I mean. If I was the manager and I thought that's what they're going to do, I'd sit deep so that any ball over the top just goes straight through to the goalkeeper. I'd sit so deep that you can't do that, and then the space opens up in midfield.
It will create opportunities for other avenues of play, but I don't think the number of goals is an issue, is it? Like, I don't know that.
I don't know.
It seems very, and I'm going to be harsh here to half of the screen that I can see. It seems a very Americanized way of thinking. More goals means more entertainment, and making an attacking advantage like this would mean more goals, and therefore that means more entertainment. It reminds me of, because obviously I played water polo at a very good level, and the rules suddenly changed one year when America took over the International Water Polo Federation, right? They got voted in as the leading group, and they signed these rules through. And the rule became, if you had a shot and the defender blocked it and it went out, it was a goal kick, so that the ball could be thrown in and a counterattack could start really quickly. If the goalkeeper saved it and put it behind, it was equivalent of what's a corner in football. But that was encouraged to have quicker counterattacks, to have more goals, and to get more people playing the sport in America. And I'm like, that's just bizarre, right? Changing the whole fragment of a game, fabrication of a game to have more goals. Is that what this is about? Because it's always been, give the advantage to the attacker, hasn't it? That's always been the shout. Yeah, the advantage. Right. Should it though? Should it be? If the defenders have played a sensible offside trap, they should be rewarded.
Yeah, right.
And this is going to take that away. This is completely going to take that. How I look at it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and if you're a forward that can't time your runs, then you're going to
benefit
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I split up an interview with Arsene Wenger from 2021 when he first proposed this. They trialed it in the lower leagues of Chinese football. He says, our aim as IFAB, and I'm speaking under the control of my colleagues from IFAB, is always to see if we can make football more attractive. Oh, sorry, this is Infantino. Without changing the nature, obviously, of football. When it comes to offside law, with the change in the game, the speed of the game, and also with the introduction of VAR, which makes it clear when there's an offside and when there is not. Without VAR, the referees were having the instructions, in case of doubt, you let go. We have sorry, I don't know, this is written a little weird. We have been seeing that maybe we can think about a new law which allows a bit more attack in football. And Arsene Wenger presented us today as well as what this could look like. And obviously, in summary, it is an attacking players ahead of the last defender or second last player. And he explains the rule. So yeah, the idea is just for more attacking football from FIFA's side. Even more passionate, even more attacking than before. And they'll do anything they can for that. And they're claiming VAR is the thing that's allowing them to do these tests, which makes sense. I mean, they'll have a fair way of testing it. Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a real old knobhead, fuddy-duddy, whatever you want to call it, but
Fuddy-duddy.
surely football...
Yeah, fuddy-duddy, yeah.
Fuddy-duddy. Football is so popular everywhere around the world. Does it need such... I'm not saying it shouldn't change incrementally and it shouldn't evolve when things need to, but it's so popular and people love football everywhere around the world. Does it need this sort of revolutionary change? Surely a smaller little incremental change is more sensible. You know, I don't know. Making VAR better is a small incremental change that can benefit all the top leagues around the world, the World Cup, the Euros, Copa America, everything like that. It seems like such a big step that's so unneeded for the world's most popular sport, which everyone loves anyway.
He's not ruining his legacy. What a silly thing to say, Mordechai. He works for FIFA, and they've probably asked him to come up with some sort of plan. You know what I mean?
I remember the brief. Ignore the chat.
Yeah. When you bring it up, I have to put it on the screen, so
Gotcha.
that's what's happening right now. Yeah, it's interesting though. I mean, yeah, I don't know how you can promote attacking football. I think, you know, we mentioned a couple of weeks ago how football, at least Pep football, is just very possession based, and maybe, you know, when you break that possession, that you know, that grueling, you know, when they're just passing it for 20 odd passes, the breakaway from that, the counterattack from that will be given it a slight advantage, I guess. You know, you just send Rashford away or something. You know, like you just send him away, they get a little extra room to run in behind. It makes that tiki-taka, that possession, a little more. It adds a bit of risk factor to it, right? If you're playing, you know, with the center backs on the midfield, you know, pushing players forward into the area, it just adds another element of a small element of risk to that playing style. You know, the recovery time for the center backs will be a little more difficult if they get a counter break or something like that, I guess, which could kind of push back on this super possession based style, which I'm personally not crazy about. I know it's also attractive in its own way, type of football, but you know, counterattacking will be, you know, the possession will be nerfed a little bit, you know, a little bit. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe. I feel like this would benefit possession tactics just as much because it's going to open the gap between midfield and defence. So you can hold the ball and pass it around and wait for spaces and get more people forward slowly. I agree. It'll open it up to more counterattacks.
Yeah, that's the only other side I could think of. Yeah.
Pep's style of football, love it or hate it, Pep's style of football, I would believe with this rule would be the least affected tactical style. Because you're still keeping the ball, you're still dominating possession. Whereas if you're already playing a counter-attacking, you have to adapt to now have a probably deeper defensive line to start your counter-attacks. If you're doing a long ball tactic, there's now going to be more space between your defenders and your strikers. If you're playing sort of Erik Ten Hag style, it'll probably be similar, but you're committing men forward, which means you're going to be susceptible to that counter-attack, but you don't have the ball as much as a Pep system. So it'll be interesting. I don't think it will be as successful as IFAB or whatever they're called think it will be.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. And like, you know, people are thinking this is going to be implemented quickly. I thought it might be implemented quickly. It's going to take years for something like this to get ratified or whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's take a quick break and we'll be back for part 2. Still feels real cheesy doing this part, you know. We got to get a new "Be Right Back" screen.
Are we muted during these bits?
No. This is
hello,
this is just time for me to set up the next section, basically.
Okay. I wasn't
I
even
need
sure
to-
what this pause was for.
I need to set up the next
Yeah.
section. I mean, if you guys need to go to the bathroom or whatever, I guess we can do that too. If you want to read the traffic or something, the weather, whatever. No. Hold on, we got double music
Right,
playing.
this is the trial, isn't it?
This is a
like
trial.
it so far.
Yeah, it's kind of fun, right? We'll smooth it out.
Yeah.
I mean,
there
I
you
guess
go.
we could just do another screen here as well. I mean, it doesn't have to be. We don't have to be off the screen, I guess. Yeah, I'm just looking for the prompts. I like, since this is the first time, I have like windows for days right now.
Yeah. By the way, Milo's snail conundrum could
Yeah.
definitely be some sort of YouTube short.
Yeah, we'll have
I
to
reckon.
chop it up.
Just him asking the question.
Yeah.
Hoff, do you want to start with a graphic, or do you want to just?
Not yet. Not
Okay.
immediately.
Sounds good. All right, we're gonna come back with that in a couple here. Make sure we have it set.
Mordecai, we're more hoping for a sponsorship of the Saudi League. Because we're such big
Yes,
advocates of it. Yeah, that's what we want.
We did.
They'll
We
give us
did.
10 million with no snail claws.
I did Prime earlier. I did an ad spot for Prime Blue Raspberry. I was gonna say we should all, maybe next week we should all get a Prime beverage and taste test. What do you think? You don't have to love it. You just have to fake you love it, you know? And then we'll send it, tag Logan Paul and KSI. We'll get millions of dollars. No? Maybe? No?
We could do that.
Okay, here we go.
They sell it in the store down the street from my house.
Yeah, I know. I was buying the stuff for some chicken I was making, and I saw it there. And I was like, yeah, let's try it. All right, here we go. And welcome back to the Monday weekend wrap up with Milo the First, Cultured Left Foot, and Hofspur, streaming every Monday night on Twitch and possibly other platforms in the future. Hoff, your club has a brand new manager coming in after Conte's spell. We have Ange Postecogl-Who coming in from Celtic. Some people are very excited about this move, the Australian. I personally thought he was Turkish when I first heard his name. I did not know much about him. But I understand you've dove in a little deeper on the Postecogl-Who, or what's his nickname? The Glue? Is he the Glue? I don't know. What's his?
I've seen a lot of big Ange, but he's only like 5'10". He is a little stocky, but I wouldn't call him a big man by any means.
Okay. He looks very imposing, in pictures. Look at
I've watched more like training ground videos from other clubs in like the last couple weeks than I have like the entire time I've been watching this game, just to see, like, get a sense of what he's like, because you can read all kinds of like opinions and things about him, but seeing like what he does with his players is a whole nother thing. Seeing like his team talks, seems like a very personable guy. There's the thing that sold me on him. He was in a press conference, and someone asked him, one of the journalists asked him about the four, I think it was 4 Japanese players that Celtic brought in when he was at Celtic, and it was like a generalized question about the Japanese players, and he said, look, well, that's where the problems come in. These are 4 like individual players. They all have their strengths and weaknesses, and he's just like humanizing these guys. And I was like, I could see and like imagine other managers saying that. I couldn't imagine Antonio Conte saying that. I definitely couldn't imagine Jose Mourinho saying that. So off the bat, it's just night and day difference, at least personality wise. at least outward personality wise, to what the public sees. It's nice to have. I wrote some notes when I was watching interviews, watching training ground stuff, tactical analysis. It's nice to have a manager. It seems like he wants to be at the club and he's not doing the club a favor. Like you got this, I got this sense that Conte and Mourinho are like, yeah, I'm here. I'm doing you a favor. Every time they talk, like, oh yeah, I don't need to be here. I'm here because Conte was making what, 50 million a year. But anyways,
Mourinho and Conte were there to win, to prove they could win at any club. That's what Mourinho went there for. He went there to prove that he could win Spurs a trophy.
Yeah,
his ego.
And then Levy prevented that.
yeah.
Which I respect that. He's like, no, not on my watch, which is kind of counterintuitive because you want to win, but also you're just building up his legend, I guess. But he's his tactics, it's interesting to also see like how his tactics have changed over the years that he's been managing. He started in senior team wise in the A League with Brisbane Roar, and he won back-to-back titles with them. And everything I could find about those 2011, 2012 teams said those are some of the best teams that have ever been in the A League, performance-wise. Haven't really watched much A League ever, but if you're the best team, and I guess he went to Celtic as well. They're obviously the best team in Scotland. Definitely the last 2 years. A little bit of a struggle before that, but yeah, he has won pretty much everywhere he's been. Won the 2015 Asian Cup with Australia. He was the national team manager for 3 years. He qualified for their one qualification to the 2018 World Cup, and then went to Yokohama, which is actually part of the City Group. So going into his tactics, this is where like his current style kind of comes from, and this is what I'm excited about. It's kind of a pep. Everything I've seen and read about it is it's a pep style. It's a pep style.
He seems very modern from what I read as well.
Yeah. When you've watched the garbage that I've watched the last like 4 years, I would say even the promise of attacking football is I can't wait to see how it actually looks, even if it's not with like the prototypical players that he wants. So it's a 4-3-3 base. I was just thinking about it the other day, and I actually streamed some Football Manager, and I was thinking a 4 at the back is just like a nice warm blanket on a winter night. Like it's 3 at the back, 5 at the back, however you want to call it. It doesn't do it for me. I love 4 at the back. Go ahead. Sorry.
About 4 at the back. It's interesting. Like, technically, Man City could play with the 4 at the back, but it's these. I was thinking about it as these new center backs, right? That can play the wings and into midfield. This dynamic thing. Now you're gonna see. We're gonna see Trent at Liverpool move into the midfield. The basic false fullback. So the 4 at the back can easily turn into 3 at the back and 4 at the back, however you want to do it. Those fullbacks, though, those out and out wingers are going to become like more wing back, like wingers, almost like midfielders and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely, it's going to be cool to see Spurs playing a 4 at the back again.
Yeah. Could you bring up that first?
Yeah, let's go to the
image.
Let's go to the image here.
Did a little bit of tactical boards. So this is just like the base setup before, like not in possession. I guess this would be out of possession technically. So the arrows are going to be where everyone would go once possession changes. I know everything is forward. That's what he wants to do, is attack. Like he tells guys to get forward, stop passing it backwards. I mean, you might have to, like go backwards to go forwards every once in a while, but the goal is to score goals. So yeah, it's high possession, high intensity, attack as much as possible. And I saw a Spurs training video from, I think it was yesterday or Saturday was the first day that players came back, and everything was 1 to 2 touches. I haven't seen that in years. And it gets me excited. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. And then into the next one,
Yeah, that's funny that you mentioned getting excited about that, because that's kind of the same way I felt when Ten Hag was coming in, because we had, we were playing like this, this like, I don't know, just identity-less football. I mean, Spurs have an identity under Conte, but it seems like it's, it seems like it's going to be a little more attacking. This is that second slide here.
Yeah, so this one is like the in possession in the attack. So it's like a 2-3-5. It's kind of crazy, but this is how all of the diagrams and actual like match footage is how it looked. The Celtic match footage, sorry.
You've assumed a couple signings in here as well, conveniently.
I did. Yeah, why not? I mean, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it.
I also noticed you got Kane still there, but I mean, there's a high chance he's gonna be sold.
It could be Richarlison. He'll win the Golden Boot with the new offside rule.
What I see with this picture is when you lose possession in that Spursy fashion that you will, the feast that Arsenal are going to have on the counter attack against this is
I mean,
we'll
have like 8 goals in the North London derby. But yeah, he just wants you can see Son and Kulusevski, as he wants the wingers as wide as possible, so that your 2 central midfielders can go into those channels on either side of the striker, be it Kane or whoever it is. I'm not really bothered who it is. The left back Udogie in this example is normally the one that kind of inverts a little bit and plays more centrally in the attack, and then your right back is going to be the one that is a little more advanced, overlapping. And you have your 2 center backs kind of holding the line back there, shifting as they need on either side. So yeah, hopefully you see
modern.
Yeah, I just want to see goals, man, and I don't want to see players like I honestly I don't know how Son and Kulusevski are going to translate into this, because they're both like cutting in inside forward types of wingers.
Right.
So I don't know how that affects. I think Madison Madison is the player that I wish we had signed like 2 years ago. Basically since Eriksen left, but realistically like 2 seasons ago, because I feel like he fills a much needed role that Conte and Mourinho's teams needed. But I think in this new system, I think he fits really well as well, because he can get into the box, he can play a good pass. And I think him and I don't know which side he's going to play on, but he's going to be one of those 2 higher up central midfielders, and he might float in between them with Bentancur a little bit further behind. That wouldn't surprise me either.
Right.
But I think whatever side he's floating on, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go out wider, and then Son or Kulusevski to be the guy that goes into the box.
Right. Yeah.
Hoff's very excited.
Yeah. Oh, we have one more. Should we get to this? Should we get to this other one here?
Oh yeah. So I have a little guessing game.
Oh, should I zoom in on it or something? Oh, you have it blurred out. Okay.
I blacked it out. Yeah, I blacked out who it is. So these are 2 wingers, and those are the percentiles that they're in. Sorry, I'm bringing up the photo on my own. Yeah. So one is well, I'll just take a look at the 2 wingers, and I will let you have a guess at who they are. They're both relevant to this discussion, so that should be helpful. And I was also excited by the comparables on the pink players side, even though seeing the comparables. Vinicius Jr. Ousmane Dembele and Rafael Leao are
Ooh,
the guys
okay.
at the bottom.
I've got a clue. I'm already seeing a clue, by the way.
Yeah, I would say similar data to Heung-min Song is the pink because it's such a short surname.
Short name, right? It's got to be Son on the left, no?
You think Sun is the pink? And okay.
Is it? I don't know. It's
do
a
you have
short
guess
name.
for the blue?
Who else has a short name, guys?
No one in the Spurs team.
Oh, are these Spurs players?
It's not Kulusevski. The
All right, who are they? Who are they?
Yeah, who are they?
The player on the left is I see ads plays got it is Jota from Celtic.
Okay.
Well, not he left Celtic.
Now Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Yeah.
him in a minute. Yeah.
And the player on the right is Heung-min Son.
Oh wow.
All right.
That's what Conte did to Heung-min Son.
Is that from last season though?
Yeah, this is from last season, based on last season's stats. But yeah, if Son can get those, and granted, I know he's playing in the SPL, it's not the same level. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. It's not. If Son can hit those percentiles in the Premier League in Postecogl-Who's system, it will. The sky's the limit for him if he can hit those, because that's if he unlocks how to play that left wing in his system, it would be amazing, and we wouldn't miss Kane. So, yeah.
I don't want to piss on your parade, but it's a lot of ifs and buts, isn't it?
Milo's got me so scarred. I thought that was Anthony on the right. He's Milo's got me on that one.
Could have been Sancho.
Yeah,
as well.
okay, or Sancho. Okay, yeah, either one.
threw
Fine.
Pepe
Fuck.
in.
Or as I call them collectively, Sanchony.
This is I really like this. There is I'm really excited about this next season. There's so many teams that have restructured, and now already we'll talk about transfers later in the show, but so many teams have restructured, new rebuilding or processes, all this stuff. City's still at the top, will they be able to, hold off a competitor, Arsenal making all these moves, and now Spurs getting involved with an attacking modern manager as well, just classic modern manager here, is what I'm seeing, Arteta, Ten Hag style, just attacking stuff. But yeah, really cool. Great analysis as well. Nice graphics and all that stuff. Milo, anything to add? Cultured? Hoff?
There was way too much Spurs for me. I'm totally ready to move on.
I like the fact that Postecogl seems to be that if you're not on board with him, you're out. That's like there's no catering to egos and things like that. If you don't do it his way, then you're gone. Which is why I think he wouldn't be upset if Kane was sold. Because he likes our strikers, right? So
yeah, they interviewed Maddison when he came to the club, like his welcome interview or whatever you want to call it, and Maddison said, yeah, I spoke to him, and the thing that stuck with him was that Postecogl said, whether you come or not, you're going to see a different Spurs next season. And Maddison's like, oh, I have that same like self-confidence in my game that he has in his tactics and ability to implement it. So that's what drew me toward him. Like, okay.
Right.
It's just a shame that Maddison absolutely hates Spurs, as we found out.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah,
Those
go ahead.
Tweets are funny. Yeah, we should have added those graphics. I also I tried to find. I forget. I think I was on Instagram, and they call it doom scrolling, right? Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Doom scrolling.
Might as well.
Where you're just scrolling. So a video popped up of a Spurs fan. I assume it was a Spurs fan. It could have been satire, to be honest. Ooh. And he's made up a Maddison song. It's to the tune of the Wenger Boys. If I can find the video, we should play it on next week's show, because it is so cringy. It's like something right out of the MLS.
Whoa, easy. All right, we're going to break. We'll be back in a second. There we go. we'll just cut it there. We can go back to this screen for now while we get stuff set up for the next one. So this is nothing right now, guys. So we don't.
Nothing.
We can read chat. Okay. I don't know anything.
Well, yeah, this is the summer. Just remember, we're toying with things. We're experimenting with things. Don't.
It's our off season too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's our off season.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the preseason tour. Where are we going?
Well, with Saudi Arabia, hopefully, man. Hopefully. No. Yeah, if you listen to the beginning of the show, people who've been here since the beginning understand what's happening here. But
the name hasn't changed yet, Mordechai, but it's in the offing, as they say. It's
we narrowed it down to a few, and
we've got a name.
Democratic discussion. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
banners, we've got scarves, kits. Yeah. We're getting all the good stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's get into part 4. You guys good? All right, here we go. Pause the tunes. And welcome back to the Monday Weekend Wrap-Up. Under construction. Show name may change soon. We had an interesting question from Cultured, who... Okay, hold on. We'll start one more time. I keep forgetting to hit record. There we go. And welcome back to the Monday Weekend Wrap-Up. Every Monday night, streamed out of the USA, the USA's premier football podcast. Joining us, as always, is Milo the First, Hofspur, and Cultured Left Foot. Welcome in, guys. It is Monday night, 7:48, 12 till the hour, 18 past the half hour, and 48 past the hour. Sunny skies here in California. How's the weather for you guys?
Hot.
Wet.
Hot, wet. One word to describe the weather in Vancouver, Milo?
Hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we had an interesting question. Should we even care who owns our football club? Cultured. You kind of brought this up in chat.
Yeah.
If you wanna, yeah.
It was more around the thing. I understand there is the ethicalness of wanting good owners in your football club. I totally get that. I do get that. But ultimately, as fans, this is a very leading question, obviously, to be like, should we care? As long as they're spending money, right? That's all fans generally worry about. They're keeping training facilities up. They're keeping the stadium in good condition. Obviously, all these things the Glaziers aren't doing. But they're spending money on players. They're investing in the club, investing in the women's, the juniors, the boys, the girls, all of things like that. Should we really care? Should we really care? So, if prime example is a Man United fan, right? If Sir Jim Ratcliffe or Sheikh Jassim win the takeover bid, as it's being described, as long as they're both investing in the club, should I really care? Should I really care about who is owning my football club? Now, as I said, from an ethical point of view, yes, I think you can definitely agree with that. But should Chelsea fans care that Todd Boehly owns their club? Should Spurs care that ENIAC own the club if they're still investing money, which they have been this summer? Should Arsenal care if the Kroenkes own their club because they're investing money this summer? That's all fans want, right? It's a very leading question, but should we ultimately care as long as our clubs are investing and doing what we seem as well? Because no one seems to care unless your club's doing badly, right?
Right.
That's the point.
Yeah,
right,
that's true.
Right. Yeah, I mean, in the case of Chelsea, right? Let's take Chelsea. Let's forget the possible link to Newcastle, but let's talk about the situation with their links to Saudi Arabia. You know, something like that. I wonder. I mean, there's probably a section of fans that care about that on a sportsman level, like on a that type of thing. But there's probably a large section of fans that could care less about that, right? They're just in it for enjoyment of the game, or the owner doesn't really influence that much on what happens on the pitch, obviously in a roundabout way maybe. But I don't know.
That's just part of an investment, right? That supported Todd Boehly to go and buy the club. So why should fans care? That's my ultimate question. If Saudi Arabia or Qatar, Dubai, why should fans care?
I think it's amusing that this is coming up from a United fan right given who's interested in United now, and can you honestly tell me that you said this and you felt this way when Abramovich took over Chelsea or when Sheikh whatever took over Man City? Like, have you never made a comment about that ever?
No, I have, but I said it's a
so
leading
you do
question.
care.
It's a leading question, and my question is.
It is a leading question. It's just ironic that you're not the first and only United fan I've had say, who really cares about that? Well, of course you don't care now.
Well, no. I do care, and I would much prefer to have in an ideal world where both could offer my club exactly the same stuff. I'd prefer to have Sir Jim Ratcliffe than I would Qatar, but they're both as bad as each other.
I'm not suggesting that they are, but if the next Adolf Hitler bought your club, you would fucking care. I would care.
Oh yeah,
we
definitely.
would all care.
Yeah.
So yes, we absolutely should care who owns the football club.
But there isn't another Adolf Hitler.
Not yet.
Not yet.
That's what they thought when he popped up.
Yeah, true. But again, it's the question of not should or do you care? It's should we care? Ultimately for the game, right? Because if Arsenal got bought out by Qatar and you won the league, you'd be delighted.
I'd be happy footballistically.
And that's all that we should care about as fans, right?
But it isn't. I do care what the ownership does. I do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I always will in some respect.
Okay. Yeah, I respect that,
If the Cronkies were involved in child slavery on the side, I would have a fucking problem with it.
Yeah. Would you stop supporting the club?
No, but I would be much more active in my Cronkies out placards. But what power do I have? I'm a fucking project manager that lives in Vancouver. Like my days, I'm not even a season ticket holder anymore. I don't have any. I'm not a shareholder. I don't have any power.
And that's my point, right? And I totally understand this is a leading, very hot topic debate right now, especially as a United fan. But the point is, the majority of fans around the world don't have that ability to actually force ownership change.
This is just an attempt for you guys to be like, we shouldn't talk about
it's
what
a
the owners have done over there
That's
because
what we want.
who cares,
it's
really?
what we want. No, but what I'm saying is exactly like you, Milo, right? I no longer have a season ticket. I don't live in the same country anymore that the club I support because I've moved because of work. But ultimately, I can't do enough to change the ownership. So if Qatar come in and I can say I don't want them, but I'm still going to support the football team, then ultimately all I should care about is how my football team does.
You're not going to stop supporting them on the pitch, right? The players aren't necessarily responsible for the owner's actions, right? I perfectly understand that. But your base question is, should we care who owns the club? And my answer is yes, and I think yes is correct, personally.
So if I've reframed the question and said, should we only care about how our teams do on the pitch?
Well, you can't make people only care about what happens within the pitch, can you? You can't.
No, I know. I is open to say this is a leading question. Sorry, Cart, go on.
No, it's fine.
Get in here, Cartwheel.
No. Okay, there are measures that should take care of that, right? When Newcastle was being taken over by the Saudis, there was tons of pushback on that, right? And it's up to the league to give the green light to that takeover or not, right? So it really comes down to that process, because as fans, we watch the Premier League. They have the ultimate decision. Obviously, the club internally can choose I suppose not to sell or to sell. That's one barrier. But the Premier League also has to give the green light for takeover. And I remember there was tons of protests when Newcastle was being taken over by the Saudis. The whole the journalists killing and whatnot. I feel like we can care, and Gary Neville's always talking about an independent arbiter, or was it arbiter? He loves saying that phrase, regulator, independent regulator.
Regulator.
He loves saying that, and that type of thing, right? That is what the fans should be, I guess, trying to push for. But yeah, I think you should care who owns it. I do fear for a little bit of xenophobia, I think it's called. You just it's from Saudi Arabia. They're from Qatar. They're from somewhere else.
That's perfectly understandable. That is understandable. And it goes way deeper than football once you start looking at it from that point of view. Well, it does, and I tell you, even professionals struggle with this. And Gary Neville, you brought him up, is a perfect example because he's called out the human rights stuff and that in Saudi Arabia, but then he still went to the World Cup. He still commentated on the World Cup. He still partook in all that comes with it because he's getting paid to do it. So, if you feel that strongly, you have to take a stand, and it's up to you what kind of a stand you take. For me, if the next Hitler bought Arsenal, I would, really struggle with that, right? Like, you know what I mean? I'm taking it to an extreme for the point of the conversation, guys, and just for fun, for a bit of fun. Not that is fun, but you know what I'm saying. So for me, it's very careful, and like I say, even professionals struggle to tread that line between, what is right and what is wrong, and how you feel about it, and what your stand is, and where you draw the line. Like, it's difficult. It is.
And that's why it's not. I didn't raise the question because I don't care. I do care. I'm the same generation as you, Milo. I care who owns my football club. I didn't want the Glazers to own my football club because I did the research into how they were buying the club and knew it was going to be a disaster, right? When it was all going through and when it all went through. The question was a generic, why do football fans care would have been a better question rather than should we care. Why do football fans care? Because ultimately it's all about success on the pitch.
I mean, I remember, obviously, when Abramovich took over Chelsea, and you'll probably remember this too, Culture, it was a big deal in the English press, and I don't know if that story made its way to American shores at that time. Cart, I don't think you were watching the Premier League religiously at that time. Hoff, I'm not sure about yourself, but like...
I was Laker Nation at that time,
Okay, you were Laker Nation, I got you. But like, it wasn't long after that you really got into the Premier League, right? So, like, when Abramovich took over, it was a massive deal, and like... I don't think anyone is unaware that he has some questionable things in his business life and his past and all the rest of it. There are many songs that rival fans were singing about KGB and dirty money, and it started almost instantly. So, like, again, how much of that is stereotypical? I don't want to say xenophobic, maybe stereotypical. Just, there seemed to be this mindset that you couldn't have made that amount of money in Russia without having some sort of dodgy
connections.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know the full details. I joined in the songs because I was a season ticket holder.
Because it opened up, didn't it, under the old conservative leadership and whatever, where they wanted investment in the country. And that's at the same time the Premier League absolutely boomed up, is that they basically made it that anyone can come and invest in our football team. And Abramovich took that to the next level and completely changed the outlook on football in the UK/England, because he came in and bought a whole club. He didn't just invest as an investor or part of a consortium. He came in as a solo person and bought the club, which then other people saw and were like, oh, we can go and do that. Because then Everton got sold by Bill Kenwright or whatever it was for like a quid, because they paid off all the debt that he had put on the club to the new owners, and then all of these new teams just came in, and it was like, it just changed that Abramovich one changed the landscape of English football, because you had rich clubs that were owned by rich fans, basically, wasn't it? It was all very much rich supporters owned their clubs, and then Abramovich came in and it was sort of like, oh crap, anyone can own
it was. And there is an illusion that that there was, and it's a fallacy, that it was a working man's game. It was more of a working man's game, but not at the ownership level.
No.
It's not in my lifetime, that's for certain. I mean, maybe in the 20s and 30s, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's a long time ago. Well, that changed.
Before United sold to the Glazers, they were owned by a local butcher company that, I think, right, in the 70s.
Yeah, it was a local butcher that owned us, and then they sold it to the Irish guy who had a racehorse who fell out with Sir Alex Ferguson, whose name just escapes me at the moment, and his business partner. But they were both Man United fans. It's just one was from Ireland and one was from Manchester.
So if we go back there, right, it was still relatively a wealthy person, right? Relatively
they were wealthy fans for sure.
They were wealthy fans, yeah.
They were local
very,
wealthy fans,
very wealthy,
and they were probably supplying meats to the Manchester area, that type of thing. Like it's.
I think the money we're talking, they're supplying meat to the whole of Europe, probably.
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
but yeah,
it's like that aspect of globalization, right? That's the big term in the 90s, right? Globalization, where commerce just exploded past the borders, and the Premier League boomed with that, right? So it's. I think at that point, this idea of a town city fan connection was a little diluted, right? And a guy from Russia came in and got a piece of that, and America is coming in getting a piece of that.
Guys, this is behind the scenes footage. We're going to cut all this, don't worry.
Yeah, this is a live stream. This is going to be on YouTube. Well, actually, this might be. Actually, no, this won't be.
Doing this, David Brent does it. I don't know if you've seen the British version of The Office, but he's like, whenever he wants he's saying that he wants them to cut that sentence out of the show. He just does that. He might say something controversial, and then he's just like.
I think we can probably use this as a good chance to go on to the next topic. I know Milo wanted to finish.
I'm just going to finish what I'm saying, which is basically, I'll condense it. My point was, culturally, not just politically, not just financially, culturally, there are some huge differences between the two that could cause issues for some people, like women, or like homosexual, or dare I say it, trans. Please don't blue screen carts, computer.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a trick. It's just it's culture clash, and like it's funny. I mean, this is going back to the Hitler thing, right? He had a set of beliefs, right, and he imposed them, and other people didn't like that he did that, right, in a very extreme way.
But in the interest of the human race moving on, the majority of people had agreed by that stage to not just slaughter people you don't like.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in the same way.
Where are we as humans? Like, some people, and again, no personal beliefs here, some people might say we're going too far in the other direction.
Right. So that's what I'm kind of like getting at, is that it's like, this whole trends, that levels of whatever, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. You're right. It's like, when I'm thinking about it, it doesn't sound bad, and then when I say something, it's like, it's a minefield. Exactly.
It's a fucking minefield, dude.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is a minefield. It is a minefield, but yeah, I feel like we've gone a bit off topic, and that end bit probably shouldn't go on YouTube. But
yeah.
To put a bow on it, for me,
yeah,
the
go ahead.
Thing about
hop in whenever.
About the whole conversation, I shouldn't say about the conversation. The weird thing about me, what? About
or you
caring what your owner does or who your owners are, clubs owners are. It becomes something that like you have to defend. Like, I remember when not as a Spurs fan, but I remember like there are Chelsea fans like felt like they had to defend Abramovich's honor when he was being forced to sell the club because Russia was invading Ukraine at the time and stuff like that. Like you're like such a fan of this club. People felt the need to defend how he got his money. Oh, we were so successul because I don't care what the money was about. Like, it's a
tribalism,
weird,
right?
Yeah. It's just a weird.
I hate tribalism
aspect
in football.
of it.
I don't get it. I don't understand the tribalism side of football.
And I mean,
it really annoys me.
Yeah, you have to watch that too, because there is a large element of quite racially aggravated Chelsea fans as well. I mean, there's plenty of footage out there you can see. So, there's going to be an element of every fan base that there'll be an element that don't care. There'll be an element that are on the fence. There'll be an element that actively hate it, and there'll be an element that's extreme. And you just hope that the extreme element are the minority, and that everyone else fits somewhere on the normal scale of human emotion and reaction to what's happening, I suppose.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you don't get that really on social media, right? It's my way, it's your way, or the highway, right? It's like, it's like it's my way or it's wrong, you know? Like that's,
Yeah, that's, and that's what, we'll see. We can talk about this another day as well.
We got the whole summer to talk about this, guys.
Yeah. Don't worry, I've got plenty of hot topics we can talk about on the Monday.
Culture's got a list.
Yeah, culture just
It's good. I love it. It's just
that's why I picked it.
We can ripple. You know, it can get out of hand though. You know, but it's all good. All right, let's get ready for the final part, guys. We're gonna do the final part, and then we'll just have like kind of old school, normal, whatever we want to talk about type stuff in chat. So, all right, let me get this set up. I'm just gonna go to this screen. Chop. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Just while you're prepping it all, I do like the fixed segments. I think it's working quite well.
I think it is. I think it'll work well.
Like it.
I'm going to be against you guys on that one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Really?
I could see something.
I don't like it. It takes away from the flow of the show. I really liked the flow that we had. I don't.
So here's the thing.
That will come though. That will come, I think.
Here's the thing about it is the short form. Right? It's all about short form. Some people want short form content. You know, they don't want to watch a 2-hour thing. They want to watch a 15-minute thing. What we think about this, and then think, you know, that's then something else. You know, something like that. That's the idea, I think. But Milo's still mudded from Sensi Soccer. Oh.
Yeah, it was tough. Dude, that game is way harder than I remember.
My advice is if you're simming the game, so just being a coach, in-game tactics, changing in-game tactics does make a difference. Weirdly, in Sensible World of Soccer, and start with the system that the computer gave you. So if it was like a 3-5-2, I think Arsenal started with, right? Use that in the first game and see how it plays. Because I had a trial run last night with Man United.
Gotcha.
And then they're all right. It's really hard to score. It's really hard to score on that game.
Yeah.
Ready. All right. Ready?
You're already unbearable for Milo. NL.
NL's unbearable for most people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And welcome back to the Monday weekend wrap up. 8:15. Milo, Hoff, Culture joining us as always. Milo.
Yeah.
We have a certain retirement announced earlier this week. Cesc Fabregas, someone close to your heart.
Let's talk about Cesc, baby. That was the song that we sang. For those that don't know. One of the songs that we sang. Yeah, Fabregas calling it a day. I know we've got some other retirements as well that you had mentioned we could go over in this part. But I wanted to, my Fabregas, story is basically I was a season ticket holder when we signed him. 16 years old from Barca. It was a big deal, right? Got into the team in his second year, like into the starting 11. And really, really was what I would call the definition of an Arsene Wenger player. I think he was a really, really good player too. I just don't think that we were able to put pieces as good as him around him. You know what I mean? Like, we would always have 3 or 4 really good players, and then, I don't know, I just felt like Wenger could never quite get it done in the Fabregas era. But 16 years old, when he came to us, it was a big deal, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Fabregas.
Amazing footballer. Like, such a good passer of the ball. His first touch, I remember being amazed when he was that young 16-year-old and 17-year-old that burst on the scene or whatever it was, and at Arsenal, and just being like, oh wow, this is different. Where's he come from? Because I didn't, when Arsenal signed him from Barcelona, I was nonplussed, I guess. It was a young signing. Most
from
clubs
the youth
did them
academy,
right. Picked from the youth academy. It happened quite a lot in football. Not many of them made it, and you only cared about your own club's one, right? And I think as an Arsenal fan, that must have been amazing to see that this scrawny, thin Spaniard come on the pitch and dominate games. It's incredible at that age.
This picture I sent in is, that's basically the year he became in the starting 11, and that was the year of the run we had to the Champions League final, and we faced a Juventus team led by Patrick Vieira at Highbury, and Fabregas was 18 years old, just turned 18, I think, in that game, and he absolutely bossed the midfield that contained, probably our best defensive midfielder we've ever had. So it was a crazy game, crazy performance. We beat him 2-0. He got on the score sheet as well. If you get a chance, go have a look at the highlights of that game, because it was a cracker. And Fabregas was so good, yeah.
Can you imagine if he had stayed at Barcelona? Xavi, Iniesta, and Fabregas in a three-man midfield.
Well, I don't think they would have played him, and I think it's one of the reasons he moved on, because of Xavi and Iniesta, and I think that's why we were able to pluck him out of there.
Did they play at Spain? Because I know obviously he had an amazing 2010 World Cup. I think was that the assist for Iniesta for the winner, I think. But did they play that 3, or was he on the bench and then came off?
Thought he came off the bench, but maybe lived in Spain.
Later on for Spain, he wore the 10. He played almost like a false 9. He played almost like the Messi role almost for the Spain. Yeah, he played in that kind of that false 9 at the top of the diamond.
I think his best football was played at Arsenal, personally. I think the majority of his career there as well, obviously. 212 games.
He had he was decent at Chelsea for a bit as well, but But when I started following Premier League, I got Premier League on TV 2006 at home and growing up, and Cesc was like established in the Arsenal team at that point. For me, I didn't see his come up. I knew he was young, obviously, when he came there, and he was still young then. But and I think he stayed there, and then he left at. He joined Pep for like a season or 2, I think, at Barca. So I remember, that whole period, and that whole period for Arsenal wasn't the best period. Obviously, when I started following the Premier League, it wasn't that good. So him moving to Barca, from my perspective, was very understandable. It was moving to a Pep team and stuff like that. Reunited in Spain with the Spanish contingent over there.
I mean, he's from there, so he wanted the deal. I think the agreement was he'd always be able to go home. But I think even he has said, it wasn't the greatest time for him. You know what I mean? When he went back there.
Yeah.
And then Arsenal had first dibs on him when he left Barca. And the story goes that we turned down the chance to re-sign him because we had a buyback clause. And obviously then he went to Chelsea and made another couple of hundred appearances in the Prem. So 303 appearances for Arsenal, 57 goals, 95 assists.
Did it tarnish his Arsenal legacy when he signed for Chelsea at all?
There was a lot of talk about that. Fan? There was a lot of talk about that. For me, no, because we had the option to bring him back. And I don't think it was the right. I don't think it would have helped us anyway. When he was with us, I think the problem was we didn't have the defensive, threat to protect him. You know what I mean? Like our midfield was it was all about the kind of skills that Fabregas has.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was all about that and not enough grit. So I think the era that you're referring to is when, just coming out of a very successful 10 years for the club.
Right.
We went into this era and Wenger was trying to hold on to his style of play and, it was eye-catching football and nice, attacking football. it relied a lot on skill, right? A lot on skill and movement and passing, but there were games where you needed some brute force, and we just never had it. And I think Fabregas, had he been on a team, if you'd have had Fabregas and Vieira together, for example, I think there would have been a midfield that would have been amazing.
Right.
In their prime. I just don't think that they ever had the player to go with him. So
it's strange, isn't it? Arsenal have probably got one of the best all-time Premier League 11s. Like, if you pick players from each Premier League season and put them into a best 11, they'd have one of the best. They've just not enough of them played with each other enough across those eras, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I feel fortunate that I saw a very successful 10 years or so. And we're, then the whole stadium thing and hanging on to the Champions League places for year after year after year, despite not being able to invest as much, stuff like that. Obviously it's it's been tricky, but there are, I've said it before, there are many fans of other teams that would kill to be in that position, right? So,
right.
Yeah. How far did Fabregas drop down? Where did he actually retire? Where was his last club? Was it that
Como?
Pisa or Como?
Como.
Como? Yeah.
Como. 17 appearances.
Last season.
No.
This is last season.
Yeah. I think it was last season, yeah. And then because he had Monaco for 2 years.
Yeah.
And,
Is he the best Spanish midfielder to play in the Premier League?
I don't know. Do you know, this is the one. Cazorla for me is so good, man. Like, if a fully fit Cazorla could have been something else.
I mean, David Silva's comes to my mind.
Yeah, he's probably the next contender. Cazorla, Fabregas, Silva. I'm not going to put Thiago in there. I'm just not going to do it. I
think if you maybe it's a bit too niche. But you can say Fabregas is the best Spanish playmaker. Because, I mean, Cazorla and Fabregas are completely different players, right? They're not. Right. Cazorla was more of a dribbler rather than a passer. He was on the ball a lot more than Fabregas wanted to move the ball. Same like David Silva. But Fabregas for me was just the impact he had as such a youngster.
Yeah.
Coming through for that Arsenal team when, Arsenal were playing very nice football, and he just slipped into the team and made it even better when it worked. When it worked for Arsenal and Fabregas was in that team, it was unreal. It was unreal. He was so good. Yeah, I really liked him. Shame he played for Arsenal.
Who else was there? There's Xabi Alonso as well.
I feel that way about Beckham.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah. So.
I think, well, what other Spanish midfielders were there? How about in the 90s? Were there any? Was Gus Poyet? Was he center midfielders?
No, he's Uruguayan.
Gus Poyet's Uruguayan. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Trying to think what other Spaniards were in the Premier League before him. Was he? Do you think he kind of paved the way for Spaniards in the Premier League? Then
what about?
Let's take it a step further, boys.
I wouldn't say he paved the way. I mean, maybe like paved the way is that's a big friggin'.
What? I'm curious how you guys feel about Juan Mata.
Oh yeah, Juan Mata. I guess he's
I
more.
thought he was great at Chelsea.
Attacking. Yeah, he was great.
I'll tell you what as well. I have to mention Reyes, because Reyes.
Oh, that's right, of course.
I have to mention Reyes. He was so friggin' good. We've talked about it before on the show. He was regarded as the best up and comer in Europe at the time, and the fact that we got him was huge. I mean, but he was dreadfully homesick. That was the problem. He didn't like living in London. Didn't like the weather. But we had him for a couple of years, and my goodness, he was good.
Yeah, someone in chat, Rodri. I mean, he's going to be up there as one of the best Spanish central midfielders in the Premier League, probably. But
just in football.
Who else is retired then?
Other retirees, we have Gareth Bale has called it a day. Gareth Bale, finally.
He did that a while ago. Yeah,
right. Really happy about that.
Yep.
Jesus. Yeah. Mesut Ozil is. I think he's doing doing gaming. I think something. He's doing some esports.
Esports? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my
What,
god! Again, I
eFootball?
thought he had retired years ago. I thought
he
he must
playing
have been on a
eFootball?
farewell tour around
then-
Turkey.
Ozil's hopping in eFootball. Maybe he's doing eFootball. Who knows? I don't know what he's doing. There's Bojan Kirkic at 32. He's retiring.
Oh,
That's interesting.
you
The
still
next
have
Messi.
Bojan?
We have Joaquin, who's like 72 or something. 40. He's 41 or 42, I think. Jeez, he's pretty inspirational. Ibrahimovic, obviously. Oh, absolutely, Ibrahimovic. Just looking at Twitch chat here for the YouTube audience. Yeah, Ibra.
We're coming to an end of an era in football, aren't we? And I'm looking at Milo's screen, like Milo's little square on my screen. Like all of our really good players are retiring. of an era that I grew up with. I can't put Milo. If Milo doesn't think it's the end of an era, I can't put words in his mouth. But
I mean,
I
don't think I was from this era anyway, mate. I think my era was the one before.
yeah, but it's the end of that. It's the end of that.
I think mine was
sort of era, isn't it?
R9 Ronaldinho. That era was me.
Yeah,
I think I'm already one generation removed from that, so I don't. Yeah.
yeah, fair enough.
Here's one that'll get the tears going for Milo. Emmanuel Adebayor is retiring.
Ah,
Oh man.
Your favorite.
what a twat.
And
How many?
we'll cut it there. What a twat. Fleck.
Yeah. But you know what? He was like good player, egotistical, but I guess, you know, we talk about this quite a lot, and not necessarily on the show, but in a lot of sports, if you're going to be the best that you can be, or one of the best in the world, you have to be somewhat egotistical. Race drivers are a great example of that. They're all massively egotistical. So, you know, I'm sure top level of football is no different. Adebayor felt extremely highly about himself. It's just, you know, he had a good season for us. It wasn't great. It was a very good season. You know, and then he wanted crazy money. You know, he wanted to match our best player's wage instantly, and it's just not the way it works, right? So then he was one of the first to go to City, right, during that era. Mm-hmm. Big money, and off he went. So I wasn't sad to see the back of him, but again, I've always said I only want players that want to play for Arsenal. You know, that's all it is. If you want to play for Arsenal and you show that, then you're going to be a fan favorite, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be Lucas Leiva, Diego Llorente, also great players, retiring. And
I always thought Lucas was overrated.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
But he was all right, wasn't he? He was all right. There's lots of people that do the job he did.
I thought he fit really well into that squad at Liverpool. I thought he did. I can see the overrated thing. I just think he did his job really well.
Yeah, he did his job really well in that Liverpool squad, but my argument would be there'd be lots of other people that could have done that job equally as well. I think.
Okay.
I think maybe I'm being a bit biased, you know, but yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Lucas is more remembered for his meme where he pops around the corner and goes, "Unlucky." So.
Alrighty. Well, that'll do it for our final part. Oh, yeah.
Sorry. I see they're just in chat for those that are watching. Yeah, whatever. They're just still discussing Adebayor, and it just reminded me of an incident that happened at a North London derby, actually. Mm-hmm. When he was playing for Arsenal, I was giving him a really hard time. I was never a massive Adebayor fan, right? And I was effing and jeffing, which means swearing for those that don't know. I was, you know, fucking Adebayor this, fucking Adebayor that from my seat. And he scored a fucking hat-trick that day. And every time he scored, the row in front of me turned to look at me and they're like, "You still hate him?" I'm like, "Yeah, still a twat."
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember when we signed him, I was like, "Oh, good. We've signed someone that I think hates Arsenal as much as most of the fans." After his like running down the pitch at City. Yeah. I was like, I'm pretty sure this guy hates Arsenal.
That Man City goal, the one thing that sticks me when he scored that Man City goal is that someone, obviously I'm not condoning this, but someone threw a white plastic chair at him. And the only thing I can think of is that the only people that have chairs like that are the people that go there with disabled fans or a steward. So someone has literally thrown the only chair they have for that game at Adebayor and then is like, oh, well, I can't sit down for the game.
Yeah, I think...
What percentage of handicapped people are exaggerating it a little bit? What do you think?
Oh, God.
my God.
Okay, all right. Let's cut it. We'll cut it there.
No.
Real quick cut. And we're back.
I suspect that was a journalist, cameraman's chair, cultured, and someone ran down, grabbed it, and threw it.
Potentially, yeah. Potentially.
I suspect.
All right. Now, guys, now it's whatever. Now we're just testing that first part out with the parts, okay, Milo? It's just a test, and now we're this is back to normal now. It's back to normal, the good old days.
We've got a bit of trivia, haven't we?
We got trivia. We got transfers to talk about.
Ooh, yeah. Let's
transfers. Yeah.
Whatever you want first. Yeah, we transfer. Actual? Are we talking actual transfers?
Actual
or
transfers.
Okay.
Dominic Solo. Bye.
Yeah. How do I say his
I
name?
can't say this one, Milo. I mean, it's. I just.
Sabozalai, yeah.
Hang on, let me read it. And what's his? Sabozalai.
It's got too many O's in it for you, Milo.
Okay. When I type that in,
Too many O's.
hang on.
I think there's an element of my fandom hitting this one. It's like it's a Liverpool player. I don't even care how to say it. You know, I think that's in the deep part of my mind. He's good though. He looks good. Big guy. Wearing the number 8. Gerrard's 8. You know,
yeah, he's
young.
It's
22.
He's rated very highly in the Bundesliga. Good numbers. Rated very highly in Football Manager, FIFA, eFootball. Like he generally seems to be a good workhorse. It relegates Henderson, right? It's Henderson that loses out in that midfield now that Sazalbalai is in.
Soboslai. He's more attacking. He could almost be like a. I wouldn't say Firmino, but he's up there. He's not a deep sitting player from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I would say Soboslai.
I think that's it.
So pretty
That's
close.
not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hoff's our man. He's got it nailed down.
Milo caters to the Liverpool. You know, he likes to stay on their good side.
Carl, whatever happened? Weren't you gonna have a team that I had to read everyone's name of?
Oh yeah, what team was
How to
that?
do that?
The Milo for 11.
Yeah,
It was like
Milo's
the Georgian
unpronounceable 11.
unpronounceable 11. Yeah, I like it.
Hoff, you're the Bundesliga representative on the chat. So
Correspondent.
What's correspondent? Yeah. What can you tell us about Dominic, as I'm going to call it, Dominic S?
Dominic S. I like watching. Well, I mean, that Leipzig team was just fun to watch, especially once Timo came back. He was much more comfortable in Germany, but not talking about Werner. Szoboszlai is good for like 3 to 4. Absolutely, like I believe the proper term is Thunder Bastards a year. And yeah, he'll score like 3 or 4 absolutely jaw-dropping goals a year. And his passing is, I wouldn't say fantastic, above average. I think when you said comparing him to where he's going to fit into Liverpool, the Firmino, I would say like a deeper Firmino, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's how he was deployed at under Marco Rosa. So yeah, kind of like an attacking mid. I guess he'd be a cam. Yeah, I like him. I think he'll run for days. And guys, if those rules eventually come in that'll push defensive lines back, he's gonna score 10 goals a year just on long shots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it 70 million euros, the release clause they paid?
Yep.
Yeah.
Leipzig got gutted though. They like in
Yeah.
Cuckoo. I can't remember all of them, but there's in Cuckoo.
Oh god.
There's
NL
now
waxing
Guardiola
lyrical about
potentially. Soboslai, Konrad Laimer. I think there was someone else as well, but yeah, they're gonna make a lot of money. They're gonna make a lot of money. Same price as same price as Mason Mount. We can talk a little bit about Mason Mount. Mason Mount has finalized his move to Man United. 70 million euros as well. What was it? 55? Yeah, 70 million euros as well. 55 was
just on your last point, Cut. Sorry, before we move on to Mason Mount. So Red Bull Leipzig, RB Leipzig, have made the second largest amount in player sales in this summer. After, who's made the most? Chelsea. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Chelsea have sold 134.5 million pounds worth of player. Leipzig have sold 114.6.
Wow.
Wow. That's
Sorry.
That's pretty. No, all good. Mason Mount. Oh, is there anything else on SoberSlab? I'm just looking at the time, and we've got trivia. I'm just trying to. Anything else on SoberSlab?
I think him paired with McAllister will be nice. I think addressing that midfield is what the doctor ordered. I know we talked about it a lot last season. So yeah, I think if everyone else at Liverpool stays on the trajectory that they're on, I think adding those two in is perfect.
Yeah, it's good. And when you were talking about Spurs, right? How they got Postecogl-Who, they're gonna have a modern manager. At the same time, right? Liverpool is making all these great moves as well. It's like it's gonna be, and people were kind of disappointed when I said top 4 is gonna be the goal next year. For a lot of these clubs,
bloodbath.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a difficult.
Clubs.
It's gonna be difficult. Newcastle, right? Newcastle getting Tonali as well, and who knows who else they're gonna get. Arsenal, we'll get to Arsenal here. United signing Mason Mount. Well, I mean, we're pretty.
How do you feel about that? 'Cause I honestly, I said it kind of in jest in the chat to push some buttons, but I don't rate Mount that highly.
He's really good.
I do. I rate him highly.
I liked him at Chelsea, and now he's signed for my club. It's gone.
He
up
had
a notch,
one bad season, right? At Chelsea. That's it. Yeah.
His only bad season at Chelsea was last season when Chelsea were generally dreadful.
Absolutely. And he's the leading goal scorer at Chelsea in his time there, leading assist, leading chances created, and most player of the year. Well, I mean, 2 player of the year awards or something like that. Like
it's a weird. If it wasn't for Chelsea last season, if we had tried to sign him the season before, it would have been 100 million plus with the numbers he was putting out. Like
Champions League winning assist,
goals. Yeah, like
Champions League winning assist. Yeah. Yeah. So I totally understand how everyone who signs for United could end up being a flop, but and it very well could end up happening, right? Because you can't. I'm not blindly confident. Obviously, anything can happen, but I'm excited because he's a very technical, high pressing. There's just so many things that he checks the box for a midfielder that Ten Hag wants, homegrown, all that stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah,
agree.
Speaking of overrated midfielders and overpriced midfielders, Declan Rice signs for Arsenal. Unbelievable. 100 million euros or something, or 100 million pounds, 105 million
Is that
pounds.
Confirmed?
105.
It's not. There's
Havertz
no
is on 330 a week, apparently.
Wait, are we talking about Declan or are we talking about Havertz? Which one do you want to start with?
They both confirmed for Arsenal. We're just you can talk about either one.
Yeah. Well, Declan Rice, we know. I find it hilarious that everyone's talking about his price tag. Like, you know what I mean? Like you really care? You went and spent 100 mil on Sancho, but it's a big deal now that we're buying Declan
100
Rice
million
for 100
euros, not 100.
I did see an interesting tweet that was
it's just hilarious to me. Like, we're not supposed to care about our owners. And it like how things change when other clubs start spending money. It's just fucking funny, man, to me.
I think you're creating a narrative. I've never once said. I've never once said that.
You created it with the way you set that sentence up about Declan Rice.
Well, it's a lot of money for Declan Rice.
You literally started this when you said the way that you introduced that.
That's a lot of money for Declan Rice. Defenders and defensive players don't usually go for that much. He's got to be the most.
English players who are one of the best players in their position always cost more. Always.
Yeah, they cost more, but 105 million pounds is a lot.
Yeah,
that's high. Just in general, like for That's
Arsenal paid £100 million for this generation's Gareth Barry. No, I don't agree with it. I didn't say it. It's a tweet I read.
it's scarcity. I think you're paying for scarcity.
I think he's a really good player as well. So
yeah, he's really good.
I'm looking forward to seeing him. I hope we get him, and I hope that it is finally done, because it's not finally done.
It's 105 million pounds, not euros. Euros, he's like 120, 125 or something. Euros.
It's one of those,
are always overpriced.
You have to back if it's credit to Arsenal if Arteta has gone, that is going to, like, Declan Rice is going to complete my team, and Arsenal have gone, fine, we're going to trust you, and that is going to set up your midfield to be what you need it to be to challenge for the title, whatever. However he's said it.
Culture, this conversation is ludicrous, right? We wouldn't be having this conversation if City paid 100 mil for him, or if United paid 100 mil for him. The only reason we're having this conversation is because Arsenal did. But literally, for the last 10 years, all I've heard from you lot is, well, not you lot specifically, but by you lot I mean fans of other clubs, is we don't spend money. Well, guess what? Yeah. Now we are spending money, so fucking deal with it. I mean,
that's fine.
I'm being nice. I'm not saying backing the manager.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad. I'm just saying it's a lot of money for a midfielder. That's. Yeah. I don't know how. I maybe I don't rate him as highly as you. I mean, I think he's a very good player. I just don't rate him that highly.
I don't rate the same way I don't rate Mount as highly as you do, I guess.
No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I think Mount's a more reasonable
I think
price.
Rice has done more for his team in the Premier League than Mount, but there are different positions, so
that's just not true. That's not true.
I think Declan Rice has done more for his team this season. I think Mason Mount has done more for his team over their career.
I mean, they're different positions. You can't really compare.
But they're different positions.
You can't really compare that anyway. They are different. Because defensively, Rice is 100 times better than Mount is defensively.
Okay,
he's a defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
But just usually
not going to be playing DMF. Carl.
Usually attackers cost more and defenders cost less. Usually, right. That's as you go further up the field, it gets more expensive. Mount is on the hot, like you know what I mean. Like Declan's, I think what it is scarcity. You know, there aren't that many midfielders like Declan Rice.
Factors, right? There's a lack of very world-class holding midfielders. There's a lack of holding world-class holding midfielders that you can buy. Declan Rice is club captain for West Ham, so that's going to make him cost more. He's English, that's going to make him cost more. He's just won the Europa Conference League with West Ham, their first European title in 60 odd years, and he was the captain that lifted it. That's going to add a bit more onto it. And West Ham know that there is that scarcity of that sort of player, so they can be like, you want him? You've got to pay the fee that we're setting. And Arsenal have gone, they've tried to negotiate, haven't they? Arsenal went 80, 90.
I think that they have negotiated, because I think originally, if you're West Ham, you're going to want as much as you can get up front straight away, right?
Yeah.
So it is a negotiation, but the fact of the matter is this: it is 100% bullshit how much that deal is in the press, and a lot of other deals aren't. And it's only because it's Declan Rice.
I agree with that.
That's the only fucking reason. And it was the same. Greg pointed out it was the same with Man City and Grealish. It was the same. It was the same deal. It was the same conversation. It was the same money. People
I think
had
it was
the
same conversation with United and Maguire. The money was a little bit less than Declan Rice,
but it's insane for Maguire as well.
It's insane. At the time, that's probably 100 million now, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
but I don't know if inflation goes that quick. But it's a lot. It was a
insane
lot
at the time.
And it wasn't.
It was
you
pay
insane
85 million for Maguire or something.
We gotta get our currencies figured out here, guys. We're throwing out a lot. We're throwing out a lot of numbers here. We're talking. Some people are saying euro. Some people are saying pounds.
How much did you pay for Anthony?
Yen.
Anthony was 100 million euros. So 70.
For Anthony.
There's Anthony and Sancho. Look at that plot.
Attacking players.
$200 million there for you.
Absolutely. No.
Yeah.
See, and I'm not in denial. I'm not in denial about it. You know, I'm not saying their careers are over, but I'm saying, like, you know, I'm completely cognizant of the fact that they could not. They didn't pan out last season. I'll put it that way. I mean, I think Anthony did the work To be fair.
But you waited until the results of their play recently before you criticized or before you even thought about agreeing that they were overpriced.
No, they were overpriced in the summer. We bought them on the final day of the window, overpriced at least 20 million euro over what we were going to pay for them at the beginning of the summer. It was just horrible negotiations.
Greg in the chat doesn't make me laugh very often. He's quite cringy. But when he called us all Bidens because we were listing off millions of trillions and billions of yen and euros and millions and pounds.
Yeah,
100 billion, trillion, million.
And Sancho, by the way, we waited an extra season because the price was just too high. Right, we got him at a cheaper price as well. We waited a whole season. That was a bit of a saga as well. Generally for attacking players.
All jokes and stress aside, I'm just going to say that if we're a club that we get criticized for not spending money when we need a specific thing, and now we are going to do that, to me that's progress. To me that's the ownership showing that they see the same things that we do. We talked about it all season long about depth and about getting your targets. You know, the Mudryk saga was a disaster. Maybe it worked out for the best. I guess we'll see in the long run. We got 7 years of Mudryk at Chelsea, right? He's got like a 20-year contract or something. So.
He's lighting it up in the under 21s, by the way. Mudryk scored a assist, drew a penalty.
Mate, my grandma could light it up in the under 21s.
Yeah, he cost him 100 million quid. He should light it up in the under 21s.
Yeah, he is, and he is. Madueke on the other side for England as well. He's doing good. Chelsea wingers.
There I go. Socko, with inflation, Maguire would be 111 million pounds today.
And that is absolutely bananas.
No one's paying that for him
It is
today.
insane money.
Yeah, but
You might get 40.
But everyone thought that at the time, is my point. That's the whole point of inflation. At the time, everyone was like, wait, they're paying how much for Maguire?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
It was crazy.
You didn't bat an eyelid at the time. You were like,
I
great.
did. I said it was
I
horrendous.
did as well.
Cart didn't. He thought he was signing the best centre back
Of course.
in Europe.
Of course.
You said he was the best centre back in Europe.
Yeah. Of course I did. I also want Hitler to own my club. What?
I know you do. I know you do.
Kai Havertz, Milo.
Yeah.
Are you that one? How do you feel?
Havertz is an interesting one, but here's what I said to. We talked about this last week, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I know you weren't here.
Yeah.
Here's what I said last week, and that is, although I think it's a weird one, and I didn't really see it coming. If Arteta feels that he's seen something in his stats or the way he plays that will fit our system, then I think Arteta's earned the trust of the fans to give that a go.
Where's he going to play?
Well, I believe he's going to play alongside Odegaard. Because, I mean, if you're paying him the money they're reportedly paying him per week, and again, we can talk about that. Everyone wants to talk about finances tonight, which is hilarious. Because, you know, it's just one extreme to the other. I just think it's funny. But, you know, again, I think it's a lot of money, probably too much money a week. But if we can't sit here and be like, you're not going to get the players we need because of the money. And now if Arteta says we need him and he's willing to pay him the money, then I have to trust that, right? And I think Arteta, Edu, and co have earned some trust with the supporters.
Absolutely.
So I hope that he fits in. Obviously, you know, Chelsea thought he was an excellent player when they bought him. Maybe they just didn't use him right. I guess we'll see, right? If he flops at Arsenal, it'll be more of a story. But I think, several Chelsea rejects have turned out pretty good elsewhere in the league. So we can hope that he's one of them.
Is he like a Xhaka replacement? That sort of role?
If he is, it signals a bit of a change in system. Or maybe not, because Xhaka played in a much more offensive role.
Yeah.
This year, and maybe he feels, you know, with Declan Rice playing the defensive role, that he's confident that he can. I don't know, and I think Havertz could also play, because Jesus doesn't really play as an out-and-out 9 for us, right? He plays as a false 9. So Havertz will fit that role. He played that role at Chelsea, not particularly well though, right? So I think whatever.
I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued too, because obviously the fact that they went and got that business done means he really wanted him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and they paid a lot of money for him, more than I would have thought you should. But again, if you buy Dent,
but think it's a bit of a kick in the balls for Trossard. I know they're not exactly the same player, but
I think Trossard will play on the wing, and I think it's Trossard and Martinelli are battling for the left, and Saka, Martinelli and Trossard can both play on the right as well. Saka's got a problem or needs resting.
Havertz.
I think Havertz can drift anywhere across that front tree as well. So Odegaard doing his thing. One of the things I read, Arteta was talking about Havertz's touches in and around the penalty area. So I guess link up play. I mean, I'm really intrigued to see how it works.
Yeah,
I really am.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the summer, at the end of the season, I said, if I'm an Arsenal fan, I want the club to make some big moves, and they have, and credit to them, Somebody was saying, 5 years down the road, if we win, it'll be fine,
I don't think we're done with the moves either. I think Timber is the next rumored one, right?
Yep.
So I think that would be a really good signing as well.
It's interesting because I know Milo before you were saying Arsenal about depth and stuff. That at the moment it's adding depth, but isn't like Xhaka's obviously going to leave. We know that's going to happen probably more than likely. Partey I think is leaving as well. They want to get him off the wage bill
to Saudi.
I think. And then so that's 2 in 2 out in midfielders.
Yeah, for sure.
Midfielder. Is there more to come in midfield, or do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the plan, do I? I'm just along for the ride, mate. I had no idea Havertz was an option. I mean, Declan Rice is a target. Obviously, Casido, we're heavily linked with him. Chelsea rumored to be getting him now as well. Livio, I don't know how you pronounce his name.
Lavia?
From Southampton.
Lavia, yeah.
Lavia.
Oh, yeah. We're linked with him as well.
He looks good.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would like to see it's depth, but also having that second player be of a higher quality, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. We know.
Fair enough.
They know where we came up short, right? We'll see what happens.
And then there's just other stuff.
Vieira?
Kovacic moving, Gundogan moving, finalized this week. Ziyech failed move to Saudi. He failed his medical apparently, which is interesting. People are saying he could end up at
That'll happen
United
before the transfer window closes. That will still go through. Yeah.
EDG rumors. Should we do a bit of trivia? Do we have time? I don't know. We have five minutes. Yeah. Trivia.
Yeah, just do it. All right, guys. I have it right here. So yeah, if you want to do it.
Let's do it.
I'm down. All right, so
should we try to should we put this into should we break it for this one? Like
I think this is a natural cut anyway, isn't it? You could just cut this up and
All right, here we go. Ready, Milo? We're gonna do a live cut. Ready? Oh, whoa, hold on. There we go. All right, ready?
Sort out his transition
and
scenes.
Milo, go.
Oh wait, what? Cut? Question? What are we doing?
Attack!
So confusing. I've no idea.
Welcome to trivia.
Welcome to trivia. Milo's trivia segment. Woo!
Sure, there you go. Trivia. Yeah, I don't like the breaks, guys. We need to make it natural. It's got to be more natural.
You got to. I mean, it's like it's like playing possession and counterattack. It'll take a little second to learn.
we can get it done in a smoother way.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah. For starters, we need to actually talk about it. Before. All right.
Let's talk about talking about it later.
Do you want to do sound effects or do you want to do words? Because I've added some sound effects.
I don't know how loud those sound effects get. Let me see how loud they get.
On the soundboard.
Well, they're probably all different. I don't know. There's not a great deal of control. You can adjust the volume of them, but
yeah,
so you can only hear them once.
Ooh,
holy fuck! That one's good. That's loud. Let's check this next one.
It's close, but it's not the one.
Can I turn it up or no? No, I can't turn it up. Bang! There we go.
Where the hell's... Where's the soundboard? Oh, open soundboard.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about the damn it, Milo. That was a test.
Yeah. I think we just boost the volume on those. Then it'll work.
I think they're all max. That's the problem.
Oh.
So we can look at that after. If you want to just do, it's up to you. If you want to just do,
let's just do names for now.
All right. Well, today you can just say your own names then, because I worked on the sound effects. But yeah.
All right. I'm gonna say Chris Eubanks Sr.
That's a bit of a mouthful. Sure.
Go
That's
Chris.
what she said.
I feel like half is easier if he just says half.
Yeah, I'll just say cultured.
I'm gonna say
You
Chris.
say Colt. All right.
Chris.
Today's questions are on the 2018-19 Premier League season. Chat, feel free to join in if you want to answer. I will acknowledge you once you've, once we've dealt with it. Everyone else shuts chat down because it's controversial.
I mean, I'm watching eyes here. I'm watching the eyes.
All right. Okay. 2018-19, guys. Which team suffered the heaviest defeat of the season?
18-19.
And it was 6-0 defeat.
Chris.
Cultured.
I got Cartwheel.
Yeah, that was Eubank. Yeah.
Why are you saying that so disappointed, Milo? It was Cartwheel. Come on, man. No. Norwich. Norwich?
Not Norwich, no.
No.
Cultured.
Cultured?
West Brom.
Not West Brom.
Bollocks.
Half.
Watford. Not Watford. The correct answer was Chelsea. No one in chat got it either. They lost 6-0 to Man City at the Etihad.
Oh, no.
Yeah. All right, which team
Kai
lost
Havertz led Chelsea.
10 London derbies?
Jeez.
10?
Half, yeah. Go on.
Palace.
Not Palace.
Cultured. Fulham.
Fulham is correct.
Yeah.
They lost home and away to Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, West Ham, and Palace.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, rough run of results there, yeah. All right, 3 players shared the golden boot in this season with 22 goals each. Okay. Which continent are they from?
Chris.
Cartwheel?
England? Oh, Europe. Sorry.
No and no.
Oh, this is easy then.
Cultured.
Yeah.
Cultured?
South America.
Incorrect.
What? Oh, I know.
You get a freebie.
I guess.
Wow,
I'm trying to think of who
I
it
know.
was. I can't even think of any of them, but anyways.
Yeah.
Think of your team.
Come on.
Okay, Hoff.
Go on.
Africa.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Africa is correct.
Who were they?
Don't try to throw me off.
Salah, Mane.
Aubameyang, and Mane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And in the chat, Sinzera got it. Ads
Think of your team. Get out of here.
Yeah.
The continent part threw me off, man. I was like,
were
what the
you trying
hell?
to make him go to Asia? Is that what
He
you were
was.
doing?
Yeah, I was trying to.
Which 3 would it have been?
Son.
Son Junior, and Son the Third.
Yeah.
Kyung, Ming, and Son.
Yeah.
There you go.
Which team won the majority of their points from away matches?
Cultured.
Go on, Culture.
Burnley.
Incorrect.
Oh.
That's a different season then.
Yeah, it was. We had that a couple
I'll
weeks
guess. Chris Eubank Sr.
Go on.
Manchester United?
Incorrect.
All right, we had a good away form that year.
ago.
Tough questions again tonight, but they're kind of because you can just throw a guess out there of a team.
All right. Hoff, I guess.
Go on.
Dude, I don't know. We'll go with Villa.
Not Villa. It was Crystal Palace. They only scored 19 goals at home all season. 5 of them came on the final day.
Oh, by the way, Roy Hodgson signing on for another year at Crystal Palace.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty
Go,
good.
Roy.
There you go.
Yes. Who scored? This is a tough question. I don't even know if I'll ask it, whatever. Who scored 37.1 of his team's goals, the highest percentage in the league? I'll give you. Go on, Culture.
Jamie Vardy.
Not Vardy. He was an option on the list of answers here.
Yeah.
37.1.
Yeah, highest percentage. Not a top 6 club.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Oh dang, Culture didn't get the hint.
I know. I'm sorry, Culture.
That's all right. That's okay.
He came across very confidently.
I came with confidence. Yeah.
I've got an
That's all right,
idea, but I'm not sure yet. I'm still thinking.
Half.
Go on, Half.
Zaha.
Not Zaha.
Oh, that's a great shout, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good guess. Very reliant on this player's goals. He scored 13 goals in the campaign.
Math.
You said Vardy, right, Culture?
I can't remember what I said.
I think you did.
Maybe,
I think
maybe not.
It's got to be. I don't even know if this guy came on the scene, but it was on the scene. Dominic Calvert-Lewin?
Not DCL. It was Glenn Murray
Who?
Oh.
at Brighton. Yeah.
Look where they are now.
Okay. This should be an interesting question.
Oh boy.
Okay. There's a missing word in the following quote, and you have to tell me what the word is. So if during the quote you know what the word is, you can hit me and I'll stop and you can attempt your answer, okay? Does that make sense?
Are we, if we think we know it early, can we stop you and just say the whole quote? Because we don't know which word is missing.
Yeah, but I'm going to say blank.
Yeah, but I might know the quote before you
starts with
get to
blank?
the end of it.
Just yell your name out and we'll go from there.
Okay. All right.
All right. We're looking for a missing word in here. It is like a blank that every day in 10 years sees the train cross in front at the same time. If you ask the blank what time is the train going to come, it's not going to know the right answer. In football, it's the same. Experience, yes, but hunger, motivation, circumstance, everything is so important.
It is like a blank and then a train analogy.
Yeah, every day in 10 years sees the train cross in front at the same time. If you ask the cat... Oh, I almost said it!
Chris Eubank Sr.
Go on.
The captain?
No.
You said you almost said it!
I did almost say it.
Cultured. The cat.
Not the cat.
No idea.
Off. Right, you have a free guess. You got to get it.
Yet I have no clue.
Carriage.
Is it okay? I'll go with that. Carriage.
Not carriage. It's cow. Cow.
Who said this?
Maurizio Pochettino. That's why I thought half you might get this one, honestly. But yeah.
That's pretty good, though.
All right.
That could be the toughest question we've ever had on the trip.
It might be, yeah. It might be. Which club was top for 1 day only?
1 day.
Yeah.
This isn't counting like Arsenal because they always start at the top, right? I'm assuming. That's not my. I didn't ring in, by the way. Top for 1 day.
Cultured.
Arsenal.
Not Arsenal.
Nice.
Top for 1 day.
Off.
1819.
Half.
Burnley.
Not Burnley. I see one correct answer in chat.
Oh, I saw his eyes move.
Yeah, I was like looking where chat would have been. Are you talking about my eyes?
Oh yeah.
I was like, I could just open it right now. You know, that's what I was thinking about. I have no idea. Spurs?
No, the answer is Man United. On the first day of the season, United played on Friday night, beat Leicester in their opening game, and reigned for a few short hours until normality was restored. That's what it says. I didn't add that.
This is just crazy. This is crazy stuff.
I didn't add that. That's what it says on this. It's the Guardian's website.
God damn it, Guardian. God damn you.
Oh my god.
That's good though.
Who said we're going to make much more points in the second part of the season than we did in the first part?
Off.
Go on, Huff.
Pep.
Not Pep.
Chris Eubanks Sr.
Cartwheel.
Klopp.
Not Klopp.
Oh.
Orchard.
Go on.
David Moyes.
No, it was Mourinho. And he was sacked a week before Christmas. So, there you go, yeah. Which club started the season with 3 defeats and finished with 3 victories?
Jeez.
It's a tough quiz.
Chris
Yeah,
Eubanks
these are,
Sr.
Go on.
Spurs.
Not Spurs.
Oh.
Cultured.
Go on, Culture.
Brighton.
Not Brighton.
It's just a
3 defeats. Southampton?
No, it was West Ham.
Damn.
Let me see if there's like even a normal question here.
Have we only gotten 2 right? Between all
Yeah.
those? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Who was the top scoring Englishman in the league this season?
Cultured.
Off.
Cultured?
Jamie Vardy.
Correct.
Yes.
That's the lead. That's
We'll just
Insurmountable
the final.
We're gonna end it there. 2.
Okay.
2 for culture wins. We're just
Let's do
gonna
a final question for 5 points.
for 5 points. All right, winner
All right.
take
Winner.
winner take all.
Culture, do you get to choose who guesses first?
Me.
Oh, okay, all right. So we have to wait for Cultured, and I have to wait for Hoff since I'm in last.
Okay,
All right, here we go.
it's going to be a guess question anyway. So Huddersfield only won 3 games all season. Which team did they beat twice?
See, you should force me to go first here, Hoff. Cultured, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's a
Ah,
process
it's
of
confidence, isn't
elimination.
it? Confidence.
Yeah.
Who did they beat
okay.
twice?
Who did they beat twice? All right.
They played 38 games. And they won 3. One was against Fulham, and the other 2 wins were against the same team, which was.
I'm glad you've told me that because I was going to say Fulham. So
Oh, there you
See,
go. You all get a free club.
And the next team you're thinking of, I might have guessed it and it might have been wrong. And then you wouldn't have to think about that one either.
West Ham.
No.
So I know
5
it's not
points.
West Ham or Fulham now. Thank you, Culture.
That's right.
That's all right.
Hoff, give me one more.
Well, do I? This isn't my guess, but in order to throw you off, I could guess City, but I'm not going to.
I didn't see anything in Milo, or he's got a good poker face on that one.
All right, I'm gonna go with Bournemouth.
Not Bournemouth. All right, Cart. 5 points up for grabs. Who do you think it is?
The match on the line.
So we said West Ham, Bournemouth, and Fulham are off the table. That
And
only leaves.
Huddersfield beat this team twice, home and away.
I'm watching the eyes. Where's he going? What's he looking?
I don't have the thing up. I swear. I'm gonna go with. I don't even know if they're in the league. West Brom.
No, it was Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Wolves. Okay.
Wolves.
I got to find a new website to get questions from because this one's been getting harder and harder as the weeks go on. Honestly, it's
Yeah, that was tough.
That was
The problem is Thursday night trivia. We've exhausted so many websites of football
Yeah.
questions. You don't even realize, man, how many we've done.
It's pretty bad. Oh, it's pretty good, but
Yeah.
we've done a lot of trivia.
It is hard to find an untapped resource. And this one was good the first week. I remember we all said, "Oh, that was a really good quiz," but it's progressively got harder and harder as the weeks have gone on.
I like the quizzes still. I don't mind the quizzes where we don't. I like the quizzes where they're super hard too. I don't mind.
Yeah, I like the mix.
I don't mind.
These ones, unless like that quote from
The cow.
Pochettino,
that's knowable. I think that's knowable.
Yeah, like if you heard that Cantona speech, you'd know, right? You'd know.
Yeah.
You'd know.
Yeah.
Alrighty, you want to take us away with a dad joke, Milo?
Talk about something for a minute because I forgot about that.
Yeah, so there's a part of me that likes the new format. There's a part of me that likes it, but I do know what you mean. It doesn't stream. It doesn't feel like a stream. It's like a backstage live recording, and then the second half will be like more like a stream.
Are you doing it? How are you doing it on OBS, like standard OBS, or are you doing it on slobs?
I was doing it on standard OBS, but I'm just gonna download it and cut it. I think
but if you're doing it on OBS, right, you should be able to set your number pad keys, num keys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, to switch between scenes.
Yeah.
So you don't need to go to that under construction scene. You can just go like.
That's true.
Let's move on to the conversation and talk around transfers, and then press button 3, and it'll bring up the transfer with the transition.
I guess I could have done that. I think what it is coming from. First off, for cutting, it's easier if there's like a big blank, right? Rather than the words slowly fading from one to another, type of thing, right?
Yeah,
like it's a clean.
You still need that cut.
Then we'll
for what you want to do.
Well, okay, yeah, you're
it doesn't
right.
need to be as long.
Right. We just start a little bit. Anyways.
Anyway,
I think there's some potential here. All right, Milo, go take it away.
Yeah. So, sorry, can I ask before we do that, because you guys were just talking about it? So you were changing the wording in the middle, right?
Yeah, I have like a text document with a bunch of titles, and I have to change them and then switch, and then I'm trying to remember to press record as well.
As less work for you as possible.
So that's what it has been. That's what it has been. It's just been like one long. It's just been like a normal stream, where it's just
and the scroll that you've got get involved. That can have all the content in it. I don't know if you need to do. We can talk about this after anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, we can. And no one's freaking highlighting their message, man. What the hell? It's only 100 channel points. Everyone's typing in chat.
There was one that I wanted to bring up. I got it. Sorry, I forgot to pin it. I wanted to. Where to go?
I'm gonna have to go.
Highlighter. Oh, I don't see it. We went past it. It was somewhat like which one's more overrated.
Sancho or Anthony? Neither.
No, it was the transferred players. I think it was Rice, Madison. I forget who the third one was.
All right, type it in the thing. Give us a dad joke.
All right, you got it. All right, what sound does a witch's car make? Broom, broom.
Wait,
it was worth the wait, wasn't it?
Totally. Yeah.
Havertz. Yeah.
Broom, broom. Oh, I get it.
I hope you do.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All right, I gotta eat something, man. I haven't eaten tonight. I
was gonna cook that chicken, that butter chicken, but I think I'm gonna let it marinate overnight.
This is the first time I've not eaten before the show, and I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make a habit of it.
I like kind of I like not eating before doing things sometimes. Like you get that primal.
Are we talking about having sex?
Well, that maybe that too, but I'm talking like hunting. When you go for the hunt, you're not full when you're hunting.
There's
wait, we're still talking about sex, right?
We could be talking about sex.
There's studies that like judges give more favorable rulings in cases immediately after their lunch than before their lunch.
True. Alrighty. Well, we'll chat. We'll figure it out. And Thank you for joining, guys.
Yeah, good fun. Do you want to?
Thanks, Scott.
We're still on the stream, aren't we? So
Technically
do
still
we
on the
schedule
stream.
a time to have an actual chat sometime in the week.
Yeah.
That would be better, right? Rather
That works.
than chatting around it in Discord. So.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Right, we'll get the time sorted in Discord.
What time this week? There you go. I got it started. All right, good night, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Cheers, guys. See you in a bit.